Stop.
Before you wish for something you think will make you happy, you need to hear the story. What I'm about to tell you will change the way you see success, wealth, and happiness forever. There was a poor village girl who found a magical stick. With one touch, it could turn anything into pure gold. She thought her problems were over. She thought she had won life's lottery. But one day, she used it for the wrong reason. What happened next destroyed everything she loved. And what she discovered about true wealth will shock you to your core. This is not about magic. This is about greed. This is about wisdom. Stay with me, because this story will open your eyes to a truth that most people never understand until it's too late. In a small village in West Africa, nestled between green hills and flowing rivers, there lived a young girl named Amara. She was 16 years old, with bright, curious eyes and a smile that could light up the darkest room. Amara lived with her grandmother, Mama Zara, in a small mud house with a thatched roof. They had almost nothing. No electricity. No running water. Just 2 rooms and love. But Amara never complained. Every morning, she would wake up before sunrise. She would fetch water from the river, 3 kilometers away. She would help her grandmother prepare breakfast, usually just cassava and vegetables. Then she would walk 5 kilometers to school, barefoot, because they couldn't afford shoes. Her classmates sometimes laughed at her torn uniform. They mocked her empty stomach that would growl during lessons. They whispered about her poverty. But Amara had something they didn't have: dreams. "Grandmother," she would say every evening while they ate their simple dinner, "one day, I will build you a big house. I will buy you beautiful clothes. You will never have to work again." Mama Zara would smile gently and touch Amara's face. "My child, true wealth is not in what you own. True wealth is in who you are." Amara would nod, but deep inside, she thought, that's what poor people say to feel better. If we had money, life would be perfect. She dreamed of wealth constantly. At night, she would imagine herself in beautiful clothes, living in a mansion, everyone respecting her. No more hunger. No more mockery. No more pain. She believed that money would solve everything. But Amara was about to discover something that would test this belief in the most dramatic way possible. And what she would learn would change not just her life, but the lives of everyone in her village. One Saturday morning, Amara went to the forest to collect firewood, her weekly chore that she hated. The forest was dense, mysterious, and a little frightening. But firewood was essential for cooking, so she had no choice. As she walked deeper into the forest, she noticed something strange. There was a clearing she had never seen before, even though she had been coming to this forest for years. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient tree, massive, with twisted roots that looked like they were reaching out of the ground. Amara felt drawn to it. Her feet moved on their own. As she approached, she saw something glowing at the base of the tree. Half buried in the soil, covered with moss and leaves, was a stick. But this was no ordinary stick. It was perfectly smooth, carved with intricate patterns that seemed to move when she looked at them. And it glowed, a soft golden light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Amara reached out slowly. Her fingers trembled. The moment she touched it, a warmth spread through her entire body. She pulled it from the ground. It was lighter than it looked, and it hummed with energy in her hands. What is this?" she whispered. As if answering her question, words appeared in her mind, not spoken, but felt. "I am the stick of transformation. Whatever I touch, I can change. Use me wisely, for greed brings destruction." Amara's heart pounded. Was this real? Was she imagining things? She looked around and saw a rock near her feet. Hands shaking, she touched the stick to the rock. Flash! The rock transformed instantly into solid gold. Pure, gleaming gold. Amara gasped and dropped the stick. She stared at the gold rock, then at the stick, then back at the gold. This is real. This is real. Her mind raced with possibilities. She could transform anything into gold. She could be rich. She and her grandmother would never suffer again. She grabbed the stick and started running home, her heart bursting with excitement. But she didn't notice the words that appeared on the stick as she ran. Beware of greed. And she didn't notice that the ancient tree behind her seemed to sigh sadly, as if it had seen this story play out many times before. Amara burst into her house, breathless and wild-eyed. Grandmother, grandmother, look what I found. Mama Zara was stirring a pot of soup. She turned, concerned. Child, what's wrong? Why are you running like that? Look, Amara held up the stick. It's magical. Watch. She touched the stick to an old broken cup on the table. Flash. The cup turned to gold. Mama Zara's eyes widened. She stepped back, hand over her mouth. Amara, what is that? It's magic, grandmother. Real magic. We're going to be rich. We'll never be poor again. Amara was dancing around the room, touching the stick to various worthless items, a broken bowl, an old cloth, a piece of wood. Each one transformed into pure gold. Within minutes, they had more gold than most people in the village would see in their entire lives. But Mama Zara was not celebrating. Her face was worried. Amara, stop. Stop right now. Amara paused, confused. Why? Don't you understand? We're rich. We can buy anything. We can. Magic always comes with a price, Mama Zara said quietly. Did this stick tell you anything? Any rules? Any warnings? Amara hesitated. She remembered the words, use me wisely, for greed brings destruction. But she shook her head. No, grandmother. No warnings. It's a gift. A blessing. We deserve this after all we've suffered. Mama Zara looked at the golden objects on the table, then at the glowing stick, then at her excited granddaughter. Amara, listen to me carefully. Magic is not a game. If this stick has power, it has purpose. We must use it carefully. Carefully. Amara laughed. Grandmother, we've been careful our whole lives. We've been patient. We've been good. We've suffered. Now, it's our turn to live. Tomorrow, I'm going to the city. I'm going to sell this gold. And I'm going to buy you everything you've ever wanted. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, holding the stick, imagining her new life. The mansion she would build. The car she would buy. The clothes, the jewelry, the respect. No more mockery. No more hunger. No more pain. She smiled in the darkness, unaware that in the corner of the room, the stick was glowing, not with golden light, but with a warning red. And she didn't hear her grandmother praying quietly in the next room. Spirits of wisdom, protect my child. Save her from herself. The next morning, Amara took the golden objects to the city. She found a gold dealer in the market, a shrewd man named Mr. Okon who had been trading gold for 30 years. When Amara showed him the golden items, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. Where did you get this? He asked, examining the gold with his magnifying glass. Family treasure. Amara lied smoothly. We need money urgently. Mr. Okon tested the gold extensively. It was pure. Impossibly pure. He had never seen gold this perfect. I'll give you 5 million naira for all of this, he said, trying to hide his excitement. 5 million naira. That was more money than Amara had ever imagined. She agreed immediately. Mr. Okon counted out the money, stacks and stacks of cash. Amara's hands trembled as she took it. She was rich. In one day, she had become rich. On the way home, she stopped at shops she had only dreamed of entering. She bought new clothes, beautiful dresses, shoes, bags. She bought food, rice, chicken, fish, fruits, everything she had been denied her whole life. When she arrived home, her grandmother was shocked. Amara, what have you done? I sold the gold, grandmother. Look, we have 5 million naira. 5 million. We're rich. She spread the money on the table, laughing with joy. But Mama Zara did not laugh. And the stick? Where is the stick? Amara pulled it from her bag. Right here. And tomorrow, I'm making more gold. We're going to be the richest people in this village. That night, they ate like royalty. Amara cooked a feast, rice, chicken, salad, fruits, drinks. She invited neighbors who had always looked down on them. She watched their shocked faces with satisfaction. Yes, she thought. Now you respect me. Now you see I'm somebody. After everyone left, Mama Zara spoke quietly. Amara, you have enough money now. Put the stick away. Don't use it again. What? Why? Because enough is enough. This money can change our lives. We can build a good house, start a business, pay for your education. We don't need more. Amara laughed. Grandmother, you don't understand. 5 million is good, but it's not rich. I want to be truly wealthy. I want a mansion, not just a good house. I want a car, not just a bicycle. I want everything. Wanting everything leads to losing everything, Mama Zara warned. But Amara wasn't listening anymore. Her eyes were glittering with ambition. The stick glowed red in her bag, pulsing like an alarm. But Amara was too excited to notice. Over the next 2 months, Amara's life transformed completely. She built a massive house, 3 stories, with glass windows, marble floors, and a swimming pool. It was the biggest house in the village. Everyone talked about it. She bought a car, a shiny black SUV that she didn't even know how to drive properly, but she hired a driver. She bought clothes that cost more than most families' yearly income. She bought jewelry that made her look like a princess. And every week, she would go to the forest, create more gold, take it to the city, and sell it to Mr. Okon. Money poured in. Millions and millions of naira. But something else was changing too. Amara was changing. She stopped visiting her old friends. They're too poor, she would say. They bore me. She stopped helping at the community well. I have my own water tank now. Why should I care? She hired servants and treated them terribly. I'm paying you. Do your work and stop complaining. She would drive through the village in her SUV, looking at the poor people with disgust. I used to be like them, she would think. Thank goodness I'm not anymore. Even her relationship with her grandmother was changing. Mama Zara lived in a small room in the mansion. She had refused to move into one of the big fancy rooms. This is not right, Amara, she would say every day. This wealth is changing you. You're becoming someone I don't recognize. I'm becoming successful. Amara would shoot back. I'm becoming important. Why can't you be happy for me? Because you're not happy, Mama Zara said quietly. Look at your eyes. You have everything, but you smile less than when we had nothing. Amara would walk away, angry. She doesn't understand, she would mutter. She's from a different generation. She doesn't know what it means to have power. Meanwhile, something strange was happening in the village. People were getting sick. It started with the Okoro family. Their crops suddenly died overnight. Black, rotten, as if poisoned. Then the Adebayo family's well dried up. No water, just dust. Then children started getting mysterious fevers. The village healer couldn't cure them. Then livestock started dying, healthy goats and chickens just collapsing. The village elders held meetings. Something is wrong. The land is cursed. But no one knew why. Except Mama Zara. She watched her granddaughter with growing fear. She noticed that every time Amara used the stick, the village suffered more. The stick was taking from the land to give to Amara. Balance was being destroyed. But when Mama Zara tried to tell Amara, the girl laughed. Grandmother, you're being superstitious. These things happen. It's not connected to me. Everything is connected, child. You're taking more than your share. The land is paying the price. I don't care. Amara snapped. Let them suffer. I suffered for 16 years. Now it's my turn to enjoy. Mama Zara's heart broke. Her sweet granddaughter was gone. In her place was a stranger. Cold, greedy, selfish. That night, Mama Zara did something she had never done before. She went into Amara's room while the girl was sleeping. She tried to take the stick, but the moment her fingers touched it, the stick burned her. She cried out in pain, and Amara woke up. What are you doing? Amara grabbed the stick. Are you trying to steal from me? I'm trying to save you, Mama Zara said, tears in her eyes. That stick is destroying you. It's destroying all of us. Get out. Amara screamed. Get out of my room. This is my stick. My wealth. My life. You're just jealous. Mama Zara left, weeping. And for the first time, Amara felt no guilt. Only anger. Everyone wants what I have, she muttered. Even my own grandmother. Well, they can't have it. It's mine. The stick glowed blood red. And in the village, another child fell sick. 1 month later, 3 strangers arrived in the village. They were old women. Ancient, actually, with white hair, dark penetrating eyes, and clothes that seemed to be made of shadows and moonlight. They walked straight to Amara's mansion and knocked on the gate. The security guard tried to stop them. Madam Amara doesn't see visitors without appointment. One of the women looked at him. Just looked. He stepped aside, unable to explain why. They walked to the front door and knocked. Amara answered, annoyed. Who are you? How did you get past my... She stopped. There was something about these women that made her afraid. Amara, the first woman, spoke. Her voice was like dry leaves rustling. We are the keepers of balance. We have come for the stick of transformation. Amara's hand instinctively went to her pocket where she always kept the stick. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do, the second woman said. The stick you found belongs to us. It was placed in the forest as a test. You found it. You used it. But you failed the test. Test? What test? I didn't agree to any test. Life is a test, the third woman said. The stick was meant to teach wisdom. Those who use it selflessly pass. Those who use it for greed fail. You have failed. Amara's fear turned to anger. I haven't failed anything. This stick is mine. I found it. It's given me everything I deserve. Look around you. The first woman gestured to the village beyond the mansion gates. Look at what your greed has done. I haven't done anything to them. The stick takes from one to give to another. Every time you created gold, you took life from the land. Crops died, so you could have luxury. Water dried, so you could have a swimming pool. Children got sick, so you could have health. This is the price of greed. Amara's face went pale. She thought of all the sickness, the dead crops, the dried wells. No, that's not. I didn't know. You didn't want to know, the second woman said. Your grandmother told you. You ignored her. The stick warned you. You ignored it. You chose greed over wisdom. I just wanted a better life. Amara cried. I was poor. I suffered. Why shouldn't I be rich? There is nothing wrong with wanting a better life, the third woman said gently. But you wanted more than a better life. You wanted everything. You wanted to be above everyone. You wanted power. That is greed. The first woman extended her hand. Give us the stick. We will restore balance. The village will heal. No. Amara clutched the stick. It's mine. You can't have it. Then you choose to keep destroying your village? Your people? I don't care about them. They never cared about me. The 3 women looked at each other sadly. Very well, the first woman said. If you will not give it willingly, you will learn the final lesson. What lesson? That everything you gain through greed, you will lose through greed. The women vanished. Not walked away, vanished. Like smoke. Amara stood alone, shaking, clutching the stick. They're trying to scare me, she muttered. They're jealous, like everyone else. Well, I'm not giving up my stick. Never. But that night, she couldn't sleep, and the stick in her hand was burning hot. The next day, a man arrived at Amara's mansion in an expensive car. He introduced himself as Chief Adeyemi, a wealthy businessman from the city. Miss Amara, he said with a smooth smile, I've heard about your special abilities. Your gold. Your sudden wealth. I don't know what you're talking about, Amara said carefully. Don't worry. I'm not here to expose you. I'm here to make you an offer. A business proposal. He explained. He wanted Amara to create gold for him. Massive amounts. He would sell it internationally. They would split the profits. Think about it, he said. Right now you're small time. A few million naira. But with my connections, we could make billions. You could be one of the richest people in Africa. In the world. Amara's eyes widened. Billions. The richest in the world. How much gold would I need to make? A lot. Maybe 1,000 kilograms to start. Amara's hand trembled. That was more than she had ever created. But the reward? I'll do it, she said. Chief Adeyemi smiled. Excellent. I'll be back in 1 week. Have the gold ready. After he left, Mama Zara came to Amara. I heard everything. Amara, please. Don't do this. 1,000 kilograms? Do you know what that will take from the land? From the people? I don't care. Your friends will die. Children will die. The whole village might die. They are not my friends, Amara screamed. They laughed at me. They mocked me. They made me feel like nothing. Why should I care if they suffer? Because suffering doesn't justify causing more suffering, Mama Zara said quietly. Because you're better than this. No. I'm richer than this. And I'm about to be richer than anyone in this country. Mama Zara looked at her granddaughter, this stranger with cold eyes and a heart of stone. Then I have lost you, she whispered. My beautiful Amara is gone. She turned and walked away, shoulders shaking with sobs. Amara felt a flicker of guilt, but she pushed it down. She'll understand when we're billionaires, she told herself. That night, Amara went to the forest. She stood in the clearing, stick in hand, ready to create more gold than she had ever attempted. But as she raised the stick, she heard a voice, not from the stick, but from the forest itself. Last chance. Stop now or lose everything. Amara looked around. No one was there. I'm not stopping, she said aloud. I'm not going back to being poor. I'm not going back to being nothing. She touched the stick to the ground, and the real nightmare began. The moment the stick touched the ground, the earth screamed. That's the only way to describe it. A sound like the planet itself was in agony. Golden light exploded from the stick, spreading across the forest, across the village, across everything. Amara created the 1,000 kilograms of gold. It appeared in massive bars at her feet. She had done it. But as the golden light faded, she looked around and saw what she had done. The forest was dead. Every tree, brown, dry, lifeless. Every plant, withered. Every flower, dust. The river that ran through the village, dried up completely. Just cracked earth. And she could hear screaming from the village. Amara ran. She ran back to the village, her heart pounding with sudden fear. What she saw stopped her in her tracks. People were collapsing in the streets. Children, adults, elderly, falling like dominoes. Crops everywhere were black and rotting. Animals were dead, goats, chickens, dogs, lying in the dust. Wells were not just dry, they were emitting poisonous gas. The village was dying. No, Amara screamed. No, no, no. I didn't mean, I just wanted. She ran to her mansion. Mama Zara was on the floor of her room, gasping for breath. Grandmother. Amara knelt beside her. Mama Zara looked up with fading eyes. You chose greed over love. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll fix this. The stick must go back. Only way to restore. I'll do it. Where? Where does it go? The ancient tree. Bury it. Apologize. Mama Zara's eyes closed. Her breathing stopped. Grandmother. Amara shook her. No. Please. Don't leave me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But Mama Zara was gone. Amara collapsed, sobbing. Around her, the mansion started to crack. The marble floor split. The glass window shattered. Everything she had built was falling apart. And she realized, everything you gain through greed, you will lose through greed. She grabbed the stick and the gold and ran to the forest. Amara reached the ancient tree, dragging the heavy gold bars. Please, she cried to the tree, to the forest, to whatever power was listening. Please. I'll give it back. All of it. Just save them. Save my grandmother. Save the village. The 3 old women appeared. It's too late, the first woman said. Your grandmother is gone. The damage is done. Then undo it. Amara screamed. The stick is power. Use it. Bring her back. The stick creates. It doesn't restore life. Amara fell to her knees, sobbing. Then what do I do? What do I do? You asked for wealth. You received it. You asked for power. You received it. But you never asked for wisdom. And without wisdom, wealth destroys. I'll do anything. Please. The second woman spoke. There is one way. Give back everything. Not just the stick. Not just the gold. Everything. Your mansion. Your cars. Your clothes. Your money. Everything you gained through the stick must be returned. And the village? My grandmother? The village will heal slowly when balance is restored. But your grandmother, some things once lost cannot be returned. This is the price of your lesson. Amara looked at the gold bars beside her, at the stick in her hand, at the three women. She thought of her mansion, her car, her wealth, her power, and she thought of her grandmother's gentle face, her wisdom, her love. Take it, Amara whispered. Take all of it. She buried the stick at the base of the ancient tree. She stacked all the gold beside it. My mansion, my cars, my money, it's all from the stick. I give it back. All of it. The three women nodded. They touched the tree. Light exploded, not golden this time, but green. Pure, healing green. It spread from the tree, across the forest, across the village. Amara watched as the forest came back to life. Trees greening. Flowers blooming. The river filling with crystal-clear water. She ran back to the village. People were standing up, confused but healing. Wells were filling with water. Crops were recovering. The village was saved. But when Amara reached her mansion, it was gone. Vanished. In its place was her old, small mud house. She went inside. Mama Zara's room was empty. Just an empty sleeping mat. She was really gone. Amara collapsed on that mat and cried like she had never cried in her life. She had gained everything and lost what mattered most. 3 months later, Amara sat outside her small mud house, dressed in simple clothes, eating simple cassava. She was back to being poor. But she was different. The village children would come to her every evening. She would tell them stories, not about magic or wealth, but about wisdom. Miss Amara, a young boy asked one day, if you could have the stick back, would you? Amara was quiet for a long time. No, she finally said. That stick showed me something important. It showed me who I really was. And I didn't like what I saw. But you could have helped people with it, another child said. I could have. But I didn't. I used it for myself. That was my choice. And choices have consequences. An old woman from the village approached, one of the people who had mocked Amara when she was young. Amara, I wanted to apologize. We were cruel to you when you were young. We shouldn't have. No, Amara interrupted gently. You showed me something real. You showed me how people treat those they consider beneath them. And then, when I had power, I did the same thing. I became what I hated. So, thank you. You taught me a lesson I needed. The woman's eyes filled with tears. You're a wise girl, Amara. No. I'm a foolish girl who learned wisdom the hard way. That evening, as the sun set, Amara walked to where her grandmother was buried. Grandmother, I understand now what you tried to tell me. True wealth is not in what you own. True wealth is in who you are. I owned a mansion, but I had no peace. I owned gold, but I had no joy. I had power, but I had no love. I had everything, but I was nothing. Now I have nothing. And slowly, I'm becoming something. She placed wildflowers on the grave. I'm learning to be content. I'm learning to be grateful. I'm learning to give with